My guest today is Guillermo Sanchez, a water sanitation and hygiene specialist for the Panama Red Cross, who lives and works in and around the Darien Gap, which is a vast area of completely undeveloped jungle that bridges Colombia in South America and Panama in Central America. Guillermo, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Ale, for having me.
People who have heard of the Darien jungle know that it is considered one of the most arduous and dangerous routes for migrants around the world. But you actually live and work there. Can you tell us, first of all, what it's like and why is it so difficult and dangerous to cross through it?
Well, I can mention a lot of things that make the jungle a dangerous place. Starting from the nature itself, um, the conditions are not, as you said, they are not developed. They are not. It is not a place for people to walk. There is many wildlife that that represents a big danger for the people that is crossing. The weather is very changing, and the jungle is constantly going through different rivers that 1 second can be really dry and the next second is full of water. And one of the most common ways for people to die while crossing is they get taken by the river unexpectedly. Um, I have heard stories of how wild monkeys would attack people at night. And on top of that, there is quite a lot of criminal activity within the jungle. It is a place where some bad organizations they use it to traffic drugs or even to traffic people. And when the migrants come by, they get involved, and many times they get robbed, or even they may even get raped, or they may even get hold against their will. There is a big increment of the government trying to keep these places safe, but it is almost 100 kilometers of wild jungle. It is almost impossible to be on top of everything.
What is your job in the middle of all this?
So I am in a place where the people arrive after crossing the jungle. It is an undeveloped community. Um, it's a community where indigenous people of Panama live, and they don't really have the conditions to host around 1,000 people coming every day. So what we do, or what I do, is I make sure that they have clean water. I make sure that the risks for their health are minimized, and I make sure that they get well informed about all the things that they can do to keep healthy.
What is your average day like?
So right now, I'm gonna mention that I have been working here for almost 5 years.
Okay.
And I also have to say that when I first started, I was on the field every day making sure the water was drinkable. So I would bring the water from the river to us to our systems and test it so it can be drunk. Today we are a big team. I am not alone doing that, so I am not always on the field. But I have to make sure every day that the water is drinkable. Every day I have to make sure that the conditions for the people are good, they are safe with the water that they drink, and with the places that we build for them to use. For examples, in some communities we have gotten to build restrooms or showers, so we have to be on top of the sanitation of these places, and we have to make sure that the expectations of the people that are using them are covered, and that includes people from different ages, people from different genders, and even different conditions of mobility.
As you just pointed out, water is really essential to life to stay hydrated, clean, and healthy. But what does providing clean water mean to people in this particular environment, in their particular situation when they're in the Darien?
For me, when I give them clean water, I feel like I am giving them life.
Mm-hmm.
I was always told that water is life and that you need it to stay alive. But growing up, I never really got that big of an impact until I was able to really save life by giving them water. Because sometimes there's people that come completely dehydrated and they need water to function. And when we are able to do that, I really feel that we are bringing them, we are helping them to stay alive. And sometimes the water is not just for drinking. Sometimes um, giving them the option of taking a clean shower really gives a sensation of giving them back their dignity, and that's
Mm-hmm.
something that nobody can take away.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and it's beyond providing a technical service of providing clean water, right? And
Definitely.
this giving dignity, I'm sure, supports their mental and emotional well being. Can you talk a little bit more about that part of your work?
Definitely. So one of the biggest challenges starting this job was to be able to see the people when they first arrive, because usually they are beaten up. Something that we have learned is that many times they don't know what they are getting into. And that's a message that if I am here today, I want everybody to pay attention to this part. Crossing the jungle is difficult. I do not recommend it. The people that have done it have told me that they didn't know it was that hard. And if they could, they wouldn't have done it. So when I first see them, they are they are bad and they cannot even look up. They walk into their places looking down, asking for help. Sometimes they are barely able to walk. So I know, and that is if they were able to cross with no incidents. But sometimes when they are crossing, as I mentioned earlier, they get in really bad situations, and there is a lot of violence involved. And when they get in the path of robbers or thief, the conditions worsen off. And what we do, and not just me, but all the Red Cross, is we cover that. We understand. We try to put ourselves in their shoes. We don't judge them. Because we know that if they are crossing the border, if they are trying to get from point A to point B, it's because in point A something was wrong and something pushed them to cross. So by understanding that, we help them, we listen to them, and we give them back their sense of humanity. We make sure that they are not less of a human for trying a better life for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We do have different teams, specialists who help with the mental programs, um, and we do have other services that we offer along with clean water and good sanitation.
So it's a physical and mental,
Yes,
uh, both aspects they need support with, right?
yes.
And did you get some mental health training?
Yeah, we get taught on how to board them, how to talk to them, how to listen to them, and there is different scales of the conditions of what we can hear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we are prepared for that. But even sometimes not that's not even enough, because how much can you be prepared for really? So like we can have 100 examples of really bad situations, and then we got that 100, that one that is completely broken and is not in any of examples that we were given. And we see new situations every day, and we see situations that are really bad, and that sometimes we have to take home and go to bed thinking of that father that lost his kids. So we also beside the services that we provide for the people that is crossing the border, we also our organization Red Cross makes sure that we have safe spaces to ventilate, that we have safe spaces to be together, to talk about what is happening. In the past, we even had psychologists that would work just for us, for anybody that would need it and or that would think that would need it.
What other services or support do migrants need? And what is the Panama Red Cross able to provide?
I would say that the first thing that they need is to, well, at least what they think that they want is just to get to point B. And that's something that we really cannot do. We cannot take them to where they want to go. So we also cannot encourage them because there is many times the challenge of what we are doing. Are we doing it because we want that to keep happening? Do we really want that to stop? And the reality is that it pains to have to do this every day. I wish it would stop because I know they are suffering. But while they keep coming, we will be there for them
Mm-hmm.
because many other people are not for them. So even though that's what they want, they also need health services. Sometimes they need to contact their families back home. So the Red Cross actually continues the legacy, and the Panamanian Red Cross continues the legacy of Henry Dunant doing family restoration links, where we set up tents for them to come to us, and we would call their family members. We will give them Wi-Fi. We would give them free calls. We will help them to get in contact with their family members. Because going back to the topic of mental health, we are only talking about the mental issues of the mental health challenges of the people that is crossing the border, but every single one of them has leave someone behind or is going to reach to someone that is also sick, worried about them, and that needs to know that they are okay. Sometimes we get contacted by people from other countries telling us, "Hey, my uncle went into the jungle 4 days ago. Can you find him?" And we would be like, what do we do? So we do our best, and sometimes we have created a red of connections, not only with the local community or the local authorities, but also with the organizations that are also in place, and we work together. So when things like this happen, we can try to find the people that is missing. And it's not always possible, but we have been able to do it in the past. Another of the main services that we offer is the health services. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have technicians, we have health specialists that would take care of them when they come out. They would heal their wounds, they will take care of the wounds, they will look at their babies because that's another situation. There's a lot of kids and babies or pregnant women uh, crossing the jungle. Reality, there is not a filter. We see everything. And our doctors are there on top of everything, taking care of them as much as they can. We also have a PGI team, a protection team, who would make sure that all the services that we offer um, meet the minimum standard of protection, gender, and inclusion. For example, our PGI especially, our protection specialists, will come to my place of work or my area where I'm working, and they would tell me, "Hey, Guillermo, make sure that the restrooms or the water hydration points are reachable by kids." I'm like, yes, I didn't think of that. Then we build it together as a team. Sometimes we would take people to the health space for them to be taken care of. So that's some of the services that we offer.
You and your colleagues have also set up water systems in indigenous communities that live in the Darien jungle. Can you tell us about these communities and why you began working with them?
Okay, so something important to know is that, as I mentioned earlier, the first place where the migrants arrive is an indigenous community that is probably 4 hours away by canoe. It's really hard to reach there. Um, but it is important to know that the challenges in these communities are actually a bigger reflection of the challenges on the whole province, on the whole are the same challenges that Panamanians are facing every day: lack of infrastructure, lack of clean water, lack of good sanitation, people getting sick, a lot of malaria, a lot of dengue going on. So that happens to all Panamanians. And the things that we want to do is we want to get them involved too in the process of keeping the communities healthy. So when they arrive to this community, the migrants, we see it as an opportunity to reach out to the local community too. We don't want to leave nobody behind. So what we do, we empower the community for the community to be the ones who actually also take care of the migrants, and that they are prepared for that. Um, for example, the water system that we built, we made sure that as we are building it, there is a team of local people that knows how to build it, that knows how to give them maintenance, that knows how to work it, and they are the ones who would do it. And the day that Red Cross leave, they are going to keep doing it. And we have done that in the past. The first community when we started 5 years ago, today is completely self-sustainable because they take care of their water system. Today they are not getting migrants anymore, and that's why we left. But they have a fully functional water system, and the first mainly one that we are working today, we keep making sure that the people from that live there know how the system works. We make sure that the people that live there knows that clean water is not enough to stay healthy. So we teach them. We teach them how to wash their hands, how to brush their teeth, how to take proper showers, and how to identify what a clean water is from a not clean water. Like sometimes a challenge is that they would keep going to the river after having clean water, and it's a matter of culture, cultural difference there. But we try to we approach with them. We go to the local leaders, the community leaders, and we work with them to be able
Mm-hmm.
to reach out to the whole community.
So the community leaders sort of are your partners or champions for this
Yes,
cause, and they help
yeah,
raise awareness.
correct. The community teachers too, because there is schools inside these places,
Mm-hmm.
and we work a lot with the teachers and with the kids because we also know we recognize that the kids are a big impact developers. They are change makers.
Mm-hmm. A little bit about yourself, Guillermo, if you don't mind. Did you grow up in the Darien jungle?
I did not. I did grow up in Saya jungle though.
Mm-hmm.
So in some other part of Panama, there is the National Chagres Park.
Uh-huh.
It is a tropical forest. I actually grew up with people from the same ethnicity, the ones here in Darien who are in Beraunan. I regret that I didn't learn to speak their language, but I did grow up with them, loving the nature and learning how to respect it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that I'm sure that helps you in your everyday work.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I think it's growing up something that started is my
Hmm.
ability to connect with people from so many different cultures.
Hmm.
That's one thing that probably I am really proud of myself, and it is how diverse I am and
Hmm.
how I can connect with people from different countries or
And
believe.
and did you get involved with the Red Cross early on, or how did you end up with the Red Cross?
I didn't know if if I had to be honest. Growing up, I always wanted to work with Doctors Without Borders. So I always had a desire to go and help.
Hmm.
Red Cross came to me 5 years ago with this job. I
Hmm.
had just came back to Panama from the US. I remember that I saw in the news what was happening with the migrants in all my life. Even though living here in Panama, I never knew that migration was happening within my country. I always heard in the news that it was happening in Africa, in Europe, and in other continents. I never knew it was happening in Panama. And I remember um, August 2019, I saw it in the news and I was like, man, I want to go there. I want to help, bring them food, bring them clothes. 3 months later, in October, Red Cross contacted me and they saw my curriculum. They saw I was a biological engineer. I would be able to work with water, and they offered me to work here making clean water, and I have been here ever since.
We always ask our guests to bring an object that has a personal meaning for them. Can you tell us what you brought and maybe
Yes,
show to the
definitely.
camera and explain
So, okay,
why?
so in 2017, I believe this will reveal that I really love jungles. In
Hmm.
2017, I went to do research in Thailand. In some jungle in Thailand, I was studying for to help decrease the hunting of mammals, small mammals. And I remember that I was scared because I didn't know what I would do if I get lost in the jungle. And I remember that I gear up and I bought a lot of survival things. I'm like, I'm ready. I even bought like a first aid kit and a lot of things. And one of the things that I bought, and I thought at the time it was the greatest thing ever to get me safe, and it was this. This is it's just a tactical bracelet
Uh
that
huh.
is supposed to help me to start a fire. It's supposed to it has a whistle. It's supposed to
Oh,
help
wow.
me survive, and I did believe it would protect me. And I never take this off. And I remember that when I started working here in Darien, um, I this was one of the first things that I knew I had to run. And I
Hmm.
also know that every time I want somebody to feel protected and safe, I give them one of these. Um,
Oh,
Somehow this give me a sense of that doesn't matter what I'm doing. I shouldn't be worried because I will get out of any situation. I know.
oh, that's great. That's excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Guillermo, with everything that's going on in the world, who and or what inspires you, brings you comfort or hope?
So part of my spiritual belief is that I am loved by a creator. And what gives me hope and what keeps me moving is the fact that I feel that I am loved.
Hmm.
And when you are loved, you don't have anything else to do but love back. I feel love. I don't want to say I feel lucky because there is definitely times that I don't feel lucky at all. Um, but I don't think there is a time that I have feel unloved, and I want to share that. I want people to feel that through
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
So any chance I have the opportunity, I love people no matter what.
Wow, that's a beautiful sentiment. Thank you for that. The name of this podcast is People in the Red Vest, and you're wearing uniform. What does it mean to you?
Okay, had you asked me this question 5 years ago, I would have told you it means that I work for the Red Cross.
Mm-hmm.
After 5 years of experiencing what I'm gonna tell you now, it means something else. For me, being in any of the camps, in any of the communities, and not just for me, I'm sure for my colleagues too, when they see us, they light up. Usually they think we are doctors, and usually it doesn't matter what team we belong to, they would come to us and they would ask us for medicine or for they will ask us for us to heal them somehow. Even if that not the case, and we can just take them to what they need, the general sense and what this means to me is trust. Because also that happens a lot is that there is a lot of organizations from present, usually wearing blue or white. None of them give them what we give them.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's why I feel they trust us. So for me, wearing the red vest is trust, confianza.
Thank you, Guillermo, for sharing your experience and insights with us and for allowing us to get to know you a little bit.
You're welcome. I enjoy this. Thank you for giving me this space.